Okay, so today we're going to make a halter. Nylon look for a 1/9 traditional scale model horse. What you're going to need is some skinny ribbon, and this is, you'd usually get this at like craft stores, or sometimes you can get them, buy it online by the yard. I bought this by the spool quite a while ago, so that it's kind of nice. If you look at it, it's got the finished edges, so looks really nice, like somebody, like it was actually stitched, and that's what we're going for, right? You're going to need 5 of these jump rings. Now I'm using 7mm because I want to make sure I got room, so it's a nice loose fit. There should be 4 turns. We should be able to do like 4 of the 1/16 inch on it. I see that there. Should be able to do 4 of those. Probably could go one size smaller, but for this illustration purposes, we're going to do a 7mm. And then you need 2 buckles. Yeah, these are purchased buckles. You can make your own buckles. I've done it before. And if you're on a tight budget, a handmade buckle is not, there's nothing wrong with that. It would work in like photo show quality. I wouldn't do it for live. All right, so we'll just start off with the model we're going to do this for. I like using my mule. Pack mules often have halters, so we're going to measure, and I do this per model, that way I get the closest fit possible. So we're going to need a length that'll go over the nose. Now this fits loosely, right, and it fits above the bone here, so it's going to be like there. So I'm going to need basically from the mouth to the mouth, which is going to be plus 1/4 inch overhang. So if you get it a little bit too much, that's not a problem. It's easier to cut off excess because you can't stretch it if you cut it too short. Then we're going to need, again, short, actually we're going to go from side to side here. And the other, I mean, if you've seen real halters, the drop's going to be, or the other ring is going to be right about there. So we want to go a little bit over that. I need 2 of these. Okay, so we're going to go 1 and 2. All right, so let's start with the noseband. All right, so I'm going to put this on one of the rings, right, and I'm going to glue it. Now, something about ribbon, all right, you guys might want to use a gel glue. I only use a white glue, and it's because I've developed an allergy from prolonged exposure to the gel glues, and that means it's going to take just a little bit longer for the glue to set for me. So I have these little baby paper clips, or clothespins. You get that in like the stores for birth announcements and baby showers. You can find them there. Usually they're like a little novelty that goes for that. And we're going to go ahead and glue, and then we would go ahead and put the clip on until the glue dries. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and do one of the sides here to one of the other jump rings, and we'll glue that. By the way, it's very little glue. You don't need a lot. It takes a good 10 seconds or so. Takes a good 10 seconds or so for it to set up. All right, so now this is the noseband. I'll go ahead, I mean, I can remove that now. It hasn't been that long, maybe about 10 seconds or so. I'm going to go ahead and put this, making sure I get the wrong side. Shouldn't have taken that off yet. Okay, that one didn't have it 10 seconds. All right, and then this side, which is the noseband, we'll go ahead and put that touch of glue on there. Sorry, I'm trying to put the cap back on. The glue so it doesn't dry on me. I have such a tiny hole in the nozzle. All right. Go ahead and do that. And then we'll go ahead and put the other side now. So this is the other cheek piece, so I'll go ahead and put that there. And touch of glue. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and let that kind of set for a bit. While we're doing that, we're going to work on the chin strap. Now, I like to make it slightly adjustable, just in case I'm going to use it on more than one horse, right? Mule is kind of a obscure head size. It's rather small. So what I want to do is go, basically, it's lip to lip, right? And then it's going to be ×3 because we're going to do a triple. So we're going to take whatever that is, and then we're going to go like this. That's 1, 2. See, now we've got 2. Get it out of the way. And then we'll do a third one, right? And go ahead and cut it right about there. So I've got 3, right? All right. And then on this one, we're going to do 2 things. First of all, buckle. We're going to make this a buckle strap so it's adjustable under the chin. So it'll go on bigger nosed and smaller nosed horses. And for this, there we go. And then, so if anybody understands, you're trying to get this wrapped around the center bar, right? And then we'll do our 1/4 inch. Over, and then we're gonna like that. Okay, now this other end, because ribbon has a tendency to fray, right? So we're just gonna take a little bit of glue and wipe it on both sides. Now this is easier to do with white glue than it is with a gel glue. So, but anyways, we're gonna do that, and that will keep it, hopefully, usually does, from spooling off and unraveling. All right, so we'll put that aside. Okay. Now the next thing we need is on this is the strap that goes from the throat latch piece to the chin. So we need to measure that piece right there, plus a little extra, because we're going to create a couple loops. So we want that, but then we have to loop. So I would give more than a 1/4 inch. I would probably just, let's go ahead and just double this, and then we'll measure it to fit right at the time that we do the final assembly. So go ahead, got that. Okay, now this is actually going to work with our buckle, right? So we're gonna see how that glued up. It's all right. And so what we want to do is fold this over like this, and we're going to make that loop. Okay, and you want that loop to extend over because this has to move, right? And it should be loose. So I only have about that 1/4 inch. I'm going to go ahead and glue. And then, so we could just go ahead and hold that in place until it dries, right? Okay. Now, while that is drying, let's do the next piece. The next piece goes from here, where you're going to have a jump ring, all the way to the other side, same place for the jump ring, right? So we'll go ahead and just do our estimate on that, adding about a 1/4 inch, and cut that. And then we will attach our jump rings to either side of that. Now, more advanced halters, one side would be a hook with an adjustable slide. I'm not going to do that. Okay, that's getting advanced, but there's ways to make this adjustable too. It's just a lot more steps, and we're trying to keep this pretty simple, right? So do that, and then this side we'll do that. Okay, and that should be about the right distance. Obviously, you know, this is a lot of this is just knowing what that halter looks like. So if you need a picture of a real halter to help you get, you know, where is it supposed to sit, good idea. I have no problem with that. All right, so this is pretty much set up. We'll go ahead and pull these off, and then check for any excess glue. All right. So this really goes this way, right? That's the nose bend, and those are the cheek sides, and then now we have this. All right, so, and even I get this messed up from time to time. So we go through here, and then the buckle should fit through there, and then this end slips through the slide here, which also acts as a buckle keeper, and then it's going to go through the buckle. Come on. And why do I like traditional scale? Because it suits my fingers and my eyeballs. Okay. So now the buckle technically should go on that side, and then the slider loop would keep it right in place. So we want to see how that fits. So you can put it on the nose of our mule, and there you go. You can see the beginnings of what it looks like. Okay, and I mean, we'll fit it a little better as it goes, but there you go. See, right on the nose, and you can make it bigger or smaller there. Okay. What I do like to do is to call it endings. Right? You got to do a decent ending on your ribbon here. Once I get that there, that's better. All right. So depending upon how you like to do it, I think it goes into the buckle better if you have like a point on it. So I'm going to try to make that a point. And then I have to do that bendy thing to try and get it in. This will help me have plenty of room to get the buckle in. All right. Next thing we're going to do is you get this. You need to be able to attach a lead rope, right? So the last one, the fifth one of these rings. There's different ways to do this. I'm going to do it the simplest way. So we're going to take this here, right, and I'm going to put it right in that loop that the buckle's going through, right in there, and then go ahead and close it up. All right, there you go. So our noseband is almost done, and we'll do some final fitting later. Right now we're just assembling. So that should give time for this piece. I should have dried by now, right? There we go. And now it's time to attach our cheek pieces to the throat latch piece. I'm sure there's other official names for it, but I don't know. That's what I'm calling them. Okay. And make sure you don't go over your quarter. There we go. So we still have 2 more pieces to cut. One is going to be a buckle. And I like my buckles on this side. The important thing is that when the piece comes over to be buckled, that the excess lace points downwards. All right, so the first thing we have to do is go from the jump ring, right, to about here. It's going to be a really short piece. It is just a buckle piece. So we're going to do the jump ring on one side, the buckle on the other, tiny, tiny piece. Right? Okay. And then you want the piece that goes over, right? So buckle, and then this comes over from the other jump ring from the other side. All right, so other side jump ring to this side here, right? And you can actually have a little extra to help you buckle it, because if it's a little bit longer, you can always trim it if you don't want it that long. But again, cut too short and then it's just trash. Or you can use it on a different project or something. Okay. So not a lot on this here. What I'm gonna do is I'll just go ahead and one end. I'm gonna do that glue thing, right? Where I'm gonna smear it really good. Oh, by the way, I have a little piece of t-shirt that I use to clean my hands when I do that. And then, even though it's not dry, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that tip. Okay, so that's done. And then we're going to go ahead and do the buckle, right? So this one here has the buckle. That's what happens when you make the cut when it's not dry. It sticks your finger. All right, here we go. It's pretty simple. Come on, come on, come on. Get in there. All right, I got that. All right. Make sure it's only about 1/4 inch. See how that frays? Yeah, that's why we use the glue. I want that fraying. All my ends get glued up so that I don't have that. If anything, I'll go ahead and snip that fray. Oops. May have to glue that again. Yep. So I'm going to go right there. I'll glue it again. So that's drying, right? That should give enough time for these to be done. Take those off. We're so close to done. All right, so that goes underneath the chin. And now on this side, on this side, that's the strap over the neck. So the non-pointy side is what we're going to attach here. Now I try not to glue too close to the ring because it sticks and it doesn't move freely like a halter should. So try not to, and then I go and do it. All right. And that's why I have fingernails. They're very useful tools. Okay. That's that. All right, so we're almost done. So we still have to do this loop, right? And technically, you could put a buckle here if you wanted, and sometimes I've seen rings and hooks and all sorts of rigging, but you know that's like sophisticated and for model horses. Sometimes it's overkill, but you can research other ways to do that piece. This then, now that it's dry, I'm going to go ahead and put my buckle piece on. Okay. Now, usually halters, inexpensive nylon halters, have friction buckles, so this is realistic. Your show halters. Your show halters will have more sophisticated, pretty buckles, right? And they'll probably have tongue buckles. We're not doing tongue buckles here. You don't really need to. It's not realistic. All right. So let's see about a final fitting. So we're almost there. And the piece that we need to fit. There. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that off. I know. seconds, but sorry. Okay. This under, right, on the nose, and then we have buckle up here, right? Almost done. See? Pretty halter. The last piece we need to do, we'll go ahead and buckle this because it'll help stabilize it while I show what we're doing. See how having that makes it easier to pull it through. So that's why I like the point. Alright, so what we have to do then is fit this piece here. Now, I'm going to refit where that buckle is because that's right in the middle and it should be on the side. So we'll see if we can pull that. There we go. That way the buckle's out of the way. And then here's what we need to do. We just need to figure out what the actual distance between here and there is. Alright, and if you see on this mule, it's relatively short. So I'm going to hold it where I know I need to make the fold, okay? And I just basically, it can't be too long. See, that would be too long. You don't want under the chin. And you're going to want it basically right here, okay? Where, so you see where those are supposed to be. You tell by where it is on the nose, right? See if we got that fitted right. So it's going to pull this away from the esophagus, I guess is what it is. It's going to hold it away from the esophagus, so it should be short, all right? I'm going to fold that right now, so it's where I want it, kind of finger press it, and then I'll take the halter apart here. And I knew I should have waited 5 seconds because the buckle thing came off. But anyways, here we go. We're going to, where I finger pressed it, you can see the finger presses right there. Go ahead and get, and then I'll do probably put the glue starting right about there so that the slide's really easy. And then it's a little long. I could probably trim some of it too, right? There you go. Go ahead and do that. I need to re-glue this because I didn't wait long enough. It's okay, it re-glues really well when you use white glue. The gel glues aren't as forgiving as white glue, and they usually have strings that you're dealing with, and I mean, I don't miss them at all since I started using this as tacky glue. And you find that at, you know, what, Walmart. You can find it at Walmart. All right, there you go. Craft Supply. It's a very common glue. So, so we're going to go ahead and let those dry so that we can do the final fitting. And then you'll see what it looks like done. Okay, so time lapse, blah, blah, blah. It's done. There's a little extra. I like to always look for any extra glue. And then, yeah, that's all glued down. So now let's go ahead and find our mule. This is the model I used for my pack saddle book. And I should have probably put this in there. People who do model horses use tweezers a lot instead of fingers because it's just easier. Fingers get in the way. So you'll do this a lot for buckles. All right. And there you go. All right. You got your halter. And then it's nice and loose, right? It's not gonna choke him. And you could pull on it here, right? And that's where you detach your lead rope. And any extra, what people do, and they have extra on these halters. I think it's a little tight up here, by the way. If there's extra, just for neatness sake, they'll take and tuck it into the jump ring and then hide it, okay, so you don't really see the extra. Okay, there you go.